We're living in the fastest changing period in human history. In the last 30 years alone, we've seen more progress than in the previous 2 centuries combined. And now, we're standing at the beginning of a new era, the era of artificial intelligence. Some call it the 5th industrial revolution. And every time the world faces a big technological shift, some people see it as the end, and others see it as the biggest opportunity of their lives. The difference between them is simple. One group understands what's happening, the other doesn't. So before we talk about who might be replaced by AI, it's worth looking back, because this has happened before, 4 times in fact. Let's go back to the very beginning, the first industrial revolution. Back then, everything was about physical labor. Most people worked the land, farms were everywhere, and manual work was survival. Then, steam engines arrived. Factories started running, machines suddenly did the heavy lifting. And just like that, millions of farmers were out of work. Many of them couldn't adapt fast enough. They lost their land, their income, their sense of purpose. But at the same time, factory owners, inventors, and skilled machinists became the new winners. Those who learned how to operate and maintain the machines didn't just survive, they became the new middle class. Then came the second industrial revolution. Electricity, mass production, assembly lines. Everything started moving faster. And guess what? The small workshops and artisans who made things by hand couldn't keep up with the machines. People who once built shoes, clothes, tools, suddenly they couldn't compete with giant factories producing thousands a day. But new types of jobs were born. Engineers, technicians, managers, people who understood how to organize and scale production. They rose to the top. It was the birth of corporate power, the rise of the industrial elite. So once again, some lost everything and some became legends. Now, let's move into the third revolution, the age of computers. This one hit in the mid-1900s, and for the first time, it wasn't about muscle, it was about the mind. Machines began to calculate, to store data, to process information faster than any human could. Entire departments of clerks, typists, and bookkeepers disappeared. People who spent years mastering paperwork suddenly had nothing to do. But on the other side, programmers, engineers, and computer scientists became the new rock stars of the economy. The people who understood the digital world before everyone else, they didn't just keep their jobs, they built entire new industries. And then came the fourth revolution, the one most of us actually live through. The internet, automation, smartphones, social media. This one didn't just change how we work, it changed how we live. And if you think back, you can see it clearly. Travel agents, video rental stores, small retailers, gone. Even newspapers and television had to reinvent themselves or die trying. But at the same time, we got YouTubers, app developers, online marketers, content creators, remote workers. Ordinary people build businesses from their laptops. So yeah, technology took away millions of old jobs, but it also created new ones we couldn't even imagine 20 years ago. And here's the pattern, right? Every single revolution replaced people who resisted change and rewarded those who learned how to work with it. Now, we're standing at the edge of the 5th revolution, the age of AI. And the same rule applies. The only question left is, this time, are you going to be the one replaced or the one who adapts first? When people hear AI will replace jobs, they imagine something distant, like it might happen someday. But it's not someday. It's happening right now. And we're not guessing. This isn't fear. The predictions are coming from AI itself. Researchers fed thousands of job descriptions into AI systems and asked them to analyze how much of each job could be automated. The system broke everything down into tasks, measured what it could already do, and then predicted which roles would disappear first. What it found was very clear. The first wave is the people behind screens: office workers, writers, translators, editors, support agents, analysts. Jobs where most of the work is structured, repetitive, and based on predictable communication. Those are things AI already does very well. But that's just the beginning. The next wave includes the jobs we normally think of as safe because they're physical: cashiers, drivers, stock clerks, cleaners, waiters, bartenders, even some construction and food service roles. Why? Because once the thinking part is automated, the doing part can be replaced with robots and self-running systems. Stores don't need cashiers if payments are automated. Cars don't need drivers if they're autonomous. Restaurants don't need a full staff if robots can cook, clean, and deliver. So it's not only about text and screens anymore. AI is expanding into the physical world, and every job that is repetitive, predictable, or follows a fixed routine is on the replacement list. And here's the most important part. This time, it's not humans deciding who gets replaced. It's AI analyzing itself, measuring its own capabilities, and quietly marking the jobs it can take over first. So the question isn't whether these roles will change. They already are. The real question is whether the people doing them will evolve fast enough, or whether the machines will simply move on without them.